Look, the brutal truth is that if you're eating processed food or things with 45 ingredients, then you are going to procrastinate. There's no cure to it. There's no magic pill or there's no mental framework someone is going to offer you that is going to fix your procrastination if you are consuming garbage. If you're putting shitty fuel into your body, you're always going to feel shitty. You're always going to have no mood, no energy, etc., etc. And no matter how many YouTube videos you watch, offering you the Pomodoro technique, technique X, technique Y, mental framework Z, it's not going to work. So let me tell you this quick story about one of my friends. He calls me one day and he says, Jibreel, I'm feeling super lethargic. I have no motivation. I have exams coming up. And this guy used to be like a fairly ambitious guy. But apparently he didn't want to study. He didn't want to prep for his exams. And they were just a couple of weeks from that point onwards. The first question I asked him was, what is your diet like? Like, what are you eating? What are you consuming? He expected me to give him some motivational advice or some new mental toolkit or something unique. Hey, do this technique, study for X number of hours before you go to bed. None of that. I asked him something very simple. What is your diet like? What are you consuming? And the answer was pretty obvious. He was consuming things like bread, pasta, noodles, pizza, etc., etc. All of this is like processed garbage. So the very first thing I asked him was, hey bro, skip breakfast, skip lunch, and for dinner, just have whole natural food. Have honey, have dates, have meat, have chicken, have fish, whatever. Make sure it's whole, natural, single ingredient food. The next day he calls me and he says, bro, it worked. He slept 2 hours lesser that day. Like his body did not have to digest all that garbage that he was putting any longer. And he felt energetic, he felt focused, he woke up with a zest for life, he woke up feeling focused, energetic, and all those ADHD-like symptoms disappeared. No more brain fog. And this is like one day of avoiding all sort of processed garbage, fasting and letting your body heal, and eating whole natural food. Like some of you guys don't even have procrastination. Some of you guys just have very shitty diets that leads to procrastination. Like you are trying to address procrastination, whereas procrastination is just the symptom. It's the symptom. The root cause is your shitty diet. It's this shit that you're putting into your system and expecting it to digest and perform optimally. No, it's not going to happen. And this diet might have worked when you were like 14, 15, 12, 13. Like back then, everyone was a superhero. Like I could consume whatever I wanted to. I could like live outside, not take a bath for 7 days and still function like completely optimally. But as you grow older, your systems begin to wear and tear and they cannot tolerate this shit. So please erode these memories of your childhood, erode these memories of your past of you working on a Snicker bar for 12 hours a day and feeling super cognitively focused. So let's really dissect this. Why did fasting work in the case of my friend? The first reason why it worked was his digestive system was no longer working on digesting all that processed garbage. Like when you put garbage in your mouth, then your body has to put all these extra resources at trying to digest it. Like it wasn't designed to do it, but yet it is trying to digest this garbage. As a result, it does not have these resources to allocate elsewhere. That's why you constantly feel fatigued and you don't have desire to do anything. And that's why you procrastinate stuff. So that is reason number one why you started feeling better. You were no longer feeling in processed garbage. The second reason was that when you fast, like when you don't eat something for like 12 to 16 hours, then your body produces something called ketones. And these are like superfood for the brain. Like your body really loves ketones. They are like an alternative source of energy. Just imagine like 1,000 motivational speakers flowing through your body and charging you up. Those are what ketones are like. The third reason is that when you actually fast for a long duration, then your body actually begins to detoxify itself. It begins to consume all the decaying and dysfunctional cells and uses them as sources of energy. So during this detoxification process, you begin to feel light, you begin to feel good. Like you're no longer carrying that decayed matter around you. It's like unburdening yourself. Additionally, fasting leads to something called neurogenesis. That's like you're literally growing new neurons in your head. It's like fasting gives you a factory reset. You become a brand new person once again. And you're going to feel this from day one. You're going to realize that you feel a lot more motivated. You feel a lot more driven. You feel like your attention span has improved. No more ADHD-like symptoms. You feel very focused and energetic. Look, I already know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking like, there is no way that I can fast for that long. Like, there is no way I can stop eating food for 15, 16 hours. Like, that's just impossible. I do not imagine myself doing this thing. Look, I understand this is exactly how I thought initially. But the trick is that you need to do shorter fasts first and eventually build your ability to go into ketosis. Start with something like a 12-hour fast, eat like 2 hours before going to bed and 2 hours after you wake up. You might have already finished like a 14-hour fast by then. Eventually you can build it up, build it up, build it up, push that meal further and further away, and before you know it, you'll be at 16 hours. Like, think about your ancestors. You think your ancestors had 3 meals a day? You think they had refrigerators? You think they had milk and cocoa pops and cereals that they would eat each morning? The answer is no. They probably ate once a day. If they were lucky, that is, if they found something to hunt. So you need to kind of get rid of this idea that you need 3 meals a day to function optimally. So you really need to be in some form of fasted state for a while, and then you need to consume good whole natural food. And you want to know something even cooler? You can actually achieve all these benefits of fasting without actually skipping a single meal. And this is called the ketogenic diet. Like, in this diet, you're basically mimicking fasting. You're basically telling your body that you're fasting without actually fasting. And the way that you do it is by avoiding all sorts of carbs. Like, you are no longer having rice, you're no longer having wheat, you're no longer having fruits, honey, none of that. No carbs at all. But instead, you're having proteins and fats. So you're having meat, you're having chicken, you're having fish, you're having eggs, you're having veggies, you're having butter, you're having ghee, you're having coconut oil. You're allowed to have fats and proteins, but you're not allowed to have carbs. And this mimics fasting internally in your body. There's a whole bunch of details how it does not spike your blood glucose levels that much, and that is how your body feels that it is still fasting. I won't really get into that. You can Google all that stuff up. So the way I practice ketogenic diet is as follows. Like, I have no carbohydrates for breakfast at all. I just have like 3 or 4 eggs. And for lunch, I have around 400 to 500 grams of beef, chicken, fish, whatever. Again, no carbohydrates with it. I usually fry all these things in butter and ghee. That is quite healthy, and I feel really good. But for dinner I actually do have carbs. I actually have a lot of fruits. I have more beef, more chicken, and I might just play around with some potato and white rice. And the reason why I have carbohydrates for dinner is because it gives me better sleep. So with the ketogenic diet, it's like you have the best of both worlds. You have the motivation, you have the focus, you have the better mood that fasting offers, and you have that good quality of sleep that carbs offer. It's like the best of both worlds. And you're going to realize that if you're clean with your diet, you're not putting in processed shit, no chips, no chocolates, no soda, then you're going to feel very good. You are no longer going to feel like procrastinating anything. Like, I wake up with a burning desire to do things. Like, my first instinct is, as soon as I wake up, is, damn, let's get some shit done. Like, I promise you, there's no need to take the words of a stranger on the internet. Try this diet for 2-3 days. If you feel the difference, well, then amazing. If you do not feel anything, like you don't feel any sort of positive changes, what do you have to lose? You haven't lost anything. You haven't spent a dime. All you have done is made some dietary changes. So give this approach a shot. If you're someone who's ambitious, like you really want to reach your full potential and just flip your life around, but procrastination and bad habits are just kicking your butt, then make sure that you click the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. Perhaps I can help you out.